Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the All-Star Wrestling review for the 17th of January 1976. Vince McMahon and Antonino Rocca on commentary. We opened with a superstar Billy Graham with the Grand Wizard defeating Silvano Souza, a guy that I met when I was in the New England Independence. Met Souza several times as he was responsible, at least in part, for much of the booking of a couple of independents at the time over the years, through the 80s and early 90s. And Souza obviously was an enhancement talent through the 70s and early 80s at the time, also managing to become a promoter in the area. Or in the New England area after things are done, and booking and that, and obviously, I mean, does it go to a national level? No. Amazing posing by Billy Graham. Billy Graham, of course, the color television becoming more predominant in homes. Graham wearing black and yellow, almost bumblebee level tights, torn up a little bit or marked up a little bit. Punch kick, basic stuff, sends Souza to the outside. Souza doing a great job of selling, although I will say, to be fair, over number of strikes before Souza finally gives in. Distractions by the Grand Wizard leads to the continuation of the bear hug, which with that Graham had been allowed to use in order to get the victory. Then he continues the hold post the ending of the match, so a little bit of chicanery to be had by all here. Then we go to the next match in the bunch here. Ivan Putski with WWE Tag Team Champion Tony Parisi and Luis Sardan fights Bugsy McGraw with the Grand Wizard, Ivan Koloff, Captain Lou Albano to a double disqualification. When both wrestlers shoved the referee, Putski came out on his own, but went back and gets Parisi and Sardan after seeing Koloff and Albano. And obviously there's a brawl along the way. Including U.S. champion Bobo Brazil coming out and helping clear the heels from the ring after the decision is announced. Putski takes the mic and challenges McGraw, Koloff, Wizard, and Albano to come back out to the ring and fight them after the commercial break. And Louis Cryer with, Parisi and Sardan are questioned about the interference of the Wizard and Captain Lou Albano. Basically, everyone in the process talking about how the champions would defend against any team whenever necessary. But needless to say, at the time, Putski is a big deal. Koloff coming out as a former world champion, also a big deal here. And, Putski, who has much more hair and looks to be in better shape than he is here. They, being McGraw and Putski, battle over things like a top wrist lock and other basic maneuvers along the way. The match breaks down after several minutes into a brawl with everybody, as mentioned. Guys like Bobo Brazil, the U.S. champion, coming out into the middle of the fracas, and ultimately Vince McMahon trying to get them to commit, them being the tag team champions, to commit to fight any team, and they eventually do, as of course of the interview is had by all here. And then we go to the next in the series of things. Louis Cryer with Fred Blassie defeats Johnny Rivera 5:37 with a shoulder breaker, putting a knee on Rivera's chest during the cover to show more dominance than average, and without a doubt, trying to keep things going. Fred Blassie out here wearing blue, and at the time, looks like they're pretty intent on Cryer becoming something of the of a nature of a I don't know that I'd say a main talent, but at least a talent that is a big deal. Back leg trip by Crier. Crier using power and also things like a bear hug, along with driving the man back into the buckle. Again, amazing to me how to see how loose the ropes are. They kind of hang um, during this time, which means matches were kept. Not that guys didn't go off the ropes in the 60s and 70s. They did, but it wasn't as big a deal. Interesting back suplex, almost with a belly to belly component to it, or belly to back component to it there. Crier gets the shoulder breaker and then takes the one knee pinfall. And we go to another contest, this one being partially presented by Captain Lou Albano. Albano bringing out his charge for the moment. Ivan Koloff with Captain Lou defeats Pete McKay 5-12 with a knee drop off the top rope. Of course, Ivan Koloff, former world champion, having defeated Bruno Sammartino, still having credibility in the area. Captain Lou, kind of the modified Hawaiian shirt even here in 1976. So punches, kicks, body slams, and the like. Also an iron claw to the midsection, which, when you look at that playing out in New York, as it was in Texas for Fritz von Erich, who was years away from starting world class, but still promoting at the time what was known, I think, as big time wrestling down in Texas. Pretty big deal. Koloff comes back to the claw several times and then goes to the top rope, getting the top rope knee drop and the victory for his trouble, and still looking in 1976 like becoming a world champion again looked to be more likely than not. Ernie Ladd, who we saw the previous week out here too, is in your final match of the day. Ladd defeating Pete Sanchez via countout 6:34. Ladd hit Sanchez in the face with a loaded thumb, kind of like the spiked thumb that Terry Gordy would use later. Sanchez is sent to the floor. Dominic DeNucci faces Ivan Koloff the following week. That is announced, although we do not have access to that particular program, which is sad because I would have liked to have seen Dominic and Koloff go at it here. But we, kind of don't return to action that we can watch for a couple of weeks yet. But anyway, this particular match with Ernie Ladd is there obviously to get Ladd over. Ladd and Bruno Sammartino, I'm assuming, was a big deal. And lots of kickoffs. And basic things. Big kicks and actually taking Ladd off his feet, which was interesting. Hard shots along the way, and Ladd willing to use any illegal maneuvers he can, including the use of the buckle and the ropes illegally. Also, the chop with the thumb to the throat. Ladd doesn't have to do much. What's interesting is basically the match is a brawl, and Ladd uses the ropes and any other advantage he can get to maintain control. Ladd does get the victory, and we're going to see him for, I'm sure, weeks and months to come be a major force. But then we'll be back with more right after this.